Steal first. Okay. Damn, I never was very good at that. All right. Hail, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt. It's Matt. It's Paul. The Dork Lord's being particularly dorky at this moment. We're here talking about Maniac. Maniac. Okay. Season 1, episodes 5 and 6. Exactly like you and larger structural issues.
Yeah.
All right. So, we begin episode 5, more or less. I don't know if it's the exact beginning, but it's we see this kind of like a 1940s seance.
Yes.
And we've got our Owen and Annie are recast in this dream world.
Maybe more like
as thieves.
30s. I mean,
Could be 30s.
Hadn't the Prohibition ended by the 40s?
True.
So
yes.
Yeah, it's 30s. There's definitely Prohibition.
Is there Prohibition? Okay. So a period piece. But yes, so they're like, as opposed to being 80s, I wear a Warm Moon t-shirt, and they're like, I wear a tux. I wear a fancy dress, and we're very high society thieves, basically. So that's most of episode 5, along with in the real world, Mantle Ray and the doctors are starting to realize, something's happening, and these two people keep showing up together, and we need to try to unjoin them, and so they keep figuring out a way to So throughout the episode, Annie keeps disappearing.
Yes.
Then she bounces back.
Yes.
And then she disappears.
Yeah. You with your popping in and out.
Yeah. So that's essentially what happens. Episode 5. Episode 6 takes place mostly in the real world.
Yes.
And it is Dr. Mantle Ray,
yes.
our Justin Theroux,
yes.
Coming to grips with the fact that he needs his mom.
Yes, he needs his mommy.
To come and fix a problem.
Yes, Sally Field.
The problem is that the computer, named after his mom,
yes,
which also has his mom's identity, brain mapping in it, is depressed at the death of Dr. Morimoto.
Because they were having an inappropriate relationship.
We don't know what that was, but
no, we don't.
We'll just leave that
where it is. We don't know if
were they in Atlantis?
If Dr. Morimoto had a tall little...
Right.
We don't know.
He had the Dragon Ball Z hair.
He didn't know. Who knows? Although he cuts a rug in the
he does
episode 5. Actually.
A very silly moment.
A very zombie-ic cutting rug.
Yes, he's dead, but not in virtual. But he's still dead in virtual. So in episode 6, computer's suppressed. That's problematic. The whole study is in jeopardy. The only one, and the computer specifically asks for, I want to know
my real self.
My real self. Well, that means Mama's got to come.
It does mean Mama.
Sally Field, who was also in episode 5 in the dream world, we'll talk about that, but shows up to talk to the computer. And we end up with, they continue this study and move on to the third phase, the confrontation phase, C. And people take their drugs, and we see Annie is an elf. She and her sister are elves, which is the whole point of this, which is awesome because everything's Lord of the Rings. Woo! Now, I assume it has to do with the fact that her sister was a big fan of Hawk the Slayer. We mentioned that in earlier episodes. And they were watching Hawk the Slayer on TV when they were having their big fight before the car accident. And so Annie has been pulled into, I don't know if it's the actual Hawk the Slayer. We'll find out. Well, but there was an elf in Hawk the Slayer.
We're probably not going to see Jack Palance, I'm guessing.
What? They could do cool things these days. All right.
Animate him from the dead.
So yes, we can assume that episode 7 will be in this elven virtual world, which means it's awesome. And I can do all kinds of Lord of the Rings references next time. So Paul's going to be thrilled. For now, can't do it.
For now, I'm not thrilled.
But yeah, okay. All right. So a couple other things we learned, important aspects we learned. One, we were right that the sister's dead.
Yes.
We kind of guessed.
Yeah.
That accident looked pretty bad.
Yep.
She was going to visit her sister in the real world, but we were guessing maybe she's visiting her sister's grave. So that's what it seems like now, because Dr. Mantle-Ray has given her her little diagnostic after doing her round B, and he's like, "Oh yeah, and by the way, sorry, your sister was crushed and burned." Anyway.
Yeah, and she went on to say, caused fun guy caused his sister's death, her sister's death.
Oh right, Naslund, Greg Naslund.
Greg Naslund. Yeah, so she fantasized about him.
Yeah, we got that right too. We were. I think our guess for why Annie and Owen were in this lemur stealing virtual reality, at least part of it was, when she delivers the lemur to Miss Naslund and says, "Oh, actually it was your mom saying, here's a lemur set of kids because you're a horrible kid. Maybe you shouldn't have kids." And the idea that maybe Annie's telling the mother of the guy who was killed her sister, "You shouldn't have kids."
Yes,
is like a.
That's actually what it was.
What if you hadn't been born?
Actually, imagine she was somehow speaking to herself, because in some ways she says that she's not interested in the 6th episode. The 6th one?
Fifth. You're talking about the diagnostic test to get to 9.2?
Where she says that she doesn't see herself as a mother and a wife. So, it could be maybe to both, to say, hey, you shouldn't have kids, so then you don't have somebody who would kill somebody on the street, but also to herself saying, you're not the mother type because,
Yeah, that's interesting. So the diagnostic portion they do, and they give, we see that both Annie and Owen take this test, and you have to get to a 9.2 out of 10 in order to stay in the test, to go to part C.
Yeah.
And so you see the little number flippy on the back wall as they answer truthfully or not. So it's basically a lie detector, more or less. And so it keeps going up, down, up, down. And both of them pass eventually. In the case of Annie, though, one of the times that her numbers go down, meaning she lied, is when she says, "Yeah, I'm not interested. I'm not into the whole mother thing, and it's the opposite of me."
Right.
The idea of having kids and being a mom is the opposite of what I am.
Right.
And the numbers go bleep.
Because she certainly mothered her sister.
Yeah. And it says in her diagnostic, it says something like maternal aspects well defended or something like that.
Something like that.
So we get the notion that because in episode 5 when it's this heist this thing, she's a con artist, and she's a smooth talker, and she ultimately turns on Owen, holds a gun on him to steal
but she turns on him again. Right? The whole premise was the fact that she had turned on him.
Right, originally.
So, really, it was, she had to try to gain his trust, and she promised him that she wouldn't betray him. And then she went in and did.
But in his mind, he knew she would betray him, so he double-crossed her.
Yeah.
But, so from her point of view, this fact that she was lying in this thing, she takes that to mean it's an aspect of her mom. Because her mom, she thought, lied a lot and would do the co-opting you into her lie. Hey, I'll bring you into my lie, and now we're lying together, so we're both in this.
Really, so she could use you for her own needs.
Right. And so there's this thought of she's afraid of becoming her mom because she feels like that's the path she's taking as well.
Right.
She also then talked about, Mantle-Ray asks her, so do you have your own lives with your sister? She's like, well, it's different. We have a different set of games we play.
Yeah.
I looked after her when she was little, a la when the parents split up, she protected her sister, and then when we grew up, she protected me.
Yeah, it's a pact, she called it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's an interesting dynamic that's getting played out in these scenarios.
And then you can see that, when they were together and she was going to move away, that she could, Annie could look at that as a betrayal. Like, hey, you're supposed to be taking care of me.
This is a sister you're talking about in the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah. as opposed to Owen.
Yes, right, exactly.
So yeah, the point of the heist is they're trying to steal this 53rd chapter from Don Quixote. So obviously Don Quixote comes up again and again. Yeah. It's a metaphor. The person who has trouble distinguishing reality from fantasy.
Yes, but she also claimed that it was her thing because when her sister read it when she was young, their father said, "Oh, look how smart she is reading Don Quixote as a child."
Yeah. So in this case, in this scenario, if you read the 53rd chapter, supposedly it means you can't discern fantasy from reality, and you fall into a fantasy world,
and never to return.
So don't ever read it. It kind of reminded me of the killer joke from Monty Python. You remember that bit they did?
I don't remember that bit. You mentioned it before, and I was like,
it's in Monty Python's Flying Circus. Just, the bit is it's not a movie.
Yes. I thought you meant Brazil.
So, right, no. So it's just a joke.
Yes.
That this guy writes. He laughs so hard that he dies.
Yes,
everyone who then comes in and reads the joke dies.
Yeah.
So then they weaponize it. They started using it in World War II as this killer joke, and they had to translate it one word at a time. But it's dark, but it's also pretty damn funny. Yeah. But in this case, it just kind of reminded me of that. It was like, here's these words are so powerful that they will basically consume the person who reads them.
It's funny though that within the course of that scenario, Owen doesn't make an attempt to read it or whatever. It almost seems like he's not concerned with it.
Agreed.
Because when he's leaving, it's slow. Presumably, it seems like the reason why he's there is some sort of test of her security, of Manta Ray, the Dr. Manta Ray's security. But it's like she kind of knows that he took the thing and saying it's not going to work. You're not going to get anything out of it. And he sort of says okay, but it's not like he, in the dream, attempts to use it. Although Annie later on, it's like, what would you use it for? And then he tells her that he wanted to be in this fantasy with her, running away. He doesn't even specify where. So now it's a question like, is that the end of the series? Are they going to do some kind of?
I would guess.
What's the thing?
They go away together.
Because it sounds like. What's the thing with Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon?
They go off the cliff in the car.
Yeah. That kind of sounds like that.
Okay, you think they're gonna like a suicidal?
That's what I was thinking of. It sounded like that. I mean, because it's sort of like we're running away, and I'm laughing, but it's like, where are you going? What's going on? All right. I mean, that's to me defines that
he is suicidal, or he has been.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't.
And she apparently, even though she denies it.
Okay.
I mean, they might just want it to be like, oh yes, we're running away. I'm never gonna see what, because this is not supposed to have a second season, as far as I understand.
Okay, I don't feel like it's just gonna this experiment solved all your problems. I don't think that's
but them deciding to leave, I guess, their lives. Yeah. They might both decide to do that, and maybe not to death, but
Right. I think they're
trying to set us up for the end with that, him saying, "This is what I fantasize about, us in a car driving away, running away."
Or maybe the end of The Graduate. They're not, they never know where they're going.
Right.
They're just in a bus. Like, hey, we're leaving together.
Well, it's funny that, like, I've heard so many people,
next?
like, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, good, nice romantic ending. And a lot of people are like, are you kidding? Look at them, just sitting there not knowing what to do.
It's awkward. The silence of the end of The Graduate makes it like, they don't really know what they're doing, do they?
Yeah.
But, so...
Thelma and Louise.
Thelma and Louise, good call, sir.
Delayed reaction.
You've been waiting on that, like,
you're like,
I'd actually given up on it. I figured I'll just put it in there later.
Yeah, please don't. Thelma and Louise, don't comment.
I'm not putting it. Okay, good. So yeah, she's Annie that's stealing the thing. So in this situation, we learned that the computer, Greta.
Yes.
GRTA, was given some human emotions, empathy. because there were some problems with people going catatonic in previous tests.
Yes.
And so
what they call McMulligans or something?
Or McMurphy's.
McMurphy's.
Oh, did they McMurphy?
McMurphy.
We don't know what McMurphy means, but we can guess that somebody like either catatonic or died. Or
McMurphy, the character in The Thing, was it?
Huh? Look this up while we're doing this. Was the character in Thelma and Louise?
You know what I'm talking about? The Thing. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know The Thing. You're talking about the John Carpenter?
Yes.
Version? Yeah. So basically, there's been this personality, which is Manta Ray's mom, Sally Field.
What's the name of the character in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Oh, man, you're gonna. All right.
Go ahead.
He's trying to do Easter eggs on the fly.
Yeah, on the fly.
All right. So I can talk all day. It's good. All right, you do your thing. Okay.
Mac Reddy is in The Thing. Go ahead.
Okay. So yes, Sally Field, Manta Ray's mom, her personality has been injected into the computer, and the computer has empathy and can attempt to aid people in these scenarios, and so she does. She comes into this particular scenario. What am I looking at? Jack Nicholson plays McMurphy. Oh,
how many McMurphys?
Okay, in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So in other words, there's a mental health facility.
Yeah, where they do operations on you. They do, and so the last thing, spoiler, is he's catatonic basically because they do an operation on his brain, and so
lobotomized.
Yes.
So there
how
you go.
How many McMurphys? There you go.
That's the reference. Well done, sir.
Everybody was like, yeah, duh.
Yeah, right. Oops, we didn't know it. Now we do. Okay. So she being the personality of Sally Field comes into the scenario, into the Neberdine house. She's Miss Neberdine, which again, Neberdine is the name of the pharmaceutical place.
Oh yeah.
And then they're the Never Dies, which is kind of like the same. It's like a version of that name. She actually has them dance together. She picks them out. It's like, for the seance, we need two vessels. Right. She picks them out, and they come and they dance with the person that Sally Field brought with her, which is the zombie version of the man she loved, the computer loved, Dr. Morimoto, and they have this little dance. It's pretty funny. Anyway, so there's kind of some interesting real world to virtual world analogies going on there. Also, very important, what I thought was one of the characters in the scenario is Olivia.
Yes.
It's the first time we've seen a talking, walking Olivia.
Yes.
We saw a picture of her, so we knew that was going to be her.
Yeah.
She shows up. She offers to help.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Which, again, is similar to in the real world. We get the feeling maybe Olivia wasn't paid off at all. That, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, Paul, but I feel like that's the direction we're going to go.
It does seem like
Olivia was just nice to him, and then he being Owen, read all this stuff into her to say, oh, the only reason you're being nice to me, because I don't deserve you to be nice to me, is that my parents must have paid you. And then he freaked out.
Yeah.
So again, you get this. Well, she's offering assistance, and as it turns out, the assistance she offers is very useful. She's the one. One of the first things she tells him is there's an owl, another animal. Chalk it up. I keep seeing animals in these things. She says, "Oh, owls. Yeah, they are." I forgot how she's put it, but mythology, they're known to be protector spirits. They keep you safe.
Okay, interesting.
And so it's later when they're looking for the safe that he goes, "Oh, the owl," and he actually uses that information to successfully find the safe.
I didn't get that.
They go through the mirror and they find this. Okay, so she actually did give him the important clue.
Yes.
Which I guess he thanks her for at the end.
He does.
But then it's like, all right, and bye.
Yeah. Because obviously, I mean, he doesn't trust. She was saying, they set that up many times. Like his driver was like, oh, it looked like you should partner up with, his ex-wife, whatever, but no. And then she's like, hey, we would get together. And like, no, I don't work. I work alone. And then Olivia tried to warn Owen about Annie, saying, but it's like, she's just my wife. And so, yeah, there's a number of attempts that she tries to make, either to warn him or to become with him, but he just rejects every one.
Yeah. Also, interesting little Easter eggs are, because he does a lot of card tricks.
Yes.
The 2 cards that we see as a result of different tricks.
Nine of Hearts.
Nine of Hearts and the Ace of Hearts. The Ace of Hearts is in the matchbox.
Yes.
So it's 1 and 9.
Yeah.
And they're connected, of hearts. Anyway, so yeah. She's the 9 of Hearts. He's the Ace of Hearts. Hey, the thing. Okay. So yeah.
Again, you're like, duh.
That's right. Telling you things you already knew. Yes. That's what we do.
Yes, exactly. Right. You notice that they're both human. Oh, whoa.
Oh, what?
Not animals.
There's more to tell about that, but those are the main beats, I think, for the...
Well, I thought it was interesting, because one thing that Fujita, I think, Dr. Fujita is telling...
long hair, glasses.
Tells Thoreau, is that she put a little bit of humanity into Gerda there, empathy, and she would protect. So, her bringing the 2 of them together, Greta may have been like all along saying, okay, these people need each other. So, her tear caused them to join, and every single time she puts them together, and even then when Fujita is trying to keep them apart, she still, puts them back together. So
waveforms, tink.
Yeah. Way matchmaking or bringing them together. So she says, you 2 will dance together.
Right. And in fact, the real life Greta.
Yes.
Comes in when she learns about things. She's like, well, maybe they're soulmates. Maybe they're destined for each other.
Yeah.
To which Manta Ray's like, go away, you.
Yeah.
I'm
not thrilled with that either. But.
She does also she sums up the nature and the purpose of the experiment when she's so finally Dr. Manta Ray says, okay, has this really painful call to his mom, and he's like just choking through the words. I'm sorry, come back, I need you. So she shows up, and she basically says, because she's a famous therapist.
Yes.
He thinks her form of therapy is horrible.
Yes.
And so she's like, so let me get this straight. I'm a therapist.
7 years ago, when we stopped talking, was that you came up with the idea to create a
drug that would end therapy.
End therapy, yes. And now you need me to talk to your computer.
To fix your program.
Yeah, to fix your program.
And it's like, yeah, that's about right. He's trying to get rid of the need for therapists with kind of this quick fix. Basically map the brain, fix it without having to talk it through or do any kind of talk therapy or anything like that.
Yeah. Annie was saying earlier, I thought this is better than therapy. This is not therapy.
Yeah, good point. She's like, is this therapy? And he's like, this is not therapy. Like his very deliberate words.
Yes.
That's not it. So he is his life's work is a reaction to his antipathy for his mom. Although it's not exactly antipathy, because they also have this weird kind of Oedipal relationship.
Yeah. When they meet, she kisses him on the lips, and it was just very uncomfortable to watch. Yeah. At some point, Fujita had to encourage him to wipe the lipstick off of his face
because he had the lipstick on. And
when Thoreau tells Fujita when he was young and the father left, that she was in bed with him talking about, what is she talking about?
I forgot the scenario, but she lay in bed with him for hours or whatever. But so they've perhaps had a sexual relationship, even like incest, I think.
Or it was just far closer than a mother and son should be.
Yeah.
Which makes him.
And he apparently has this thing of masturbating. Yes. When in times of stress.
Yes.
Which of course we saw him doing.
We did.
And so.
It makes me wonder. Clearly Fujita's trying to manage him to get
Yes.
get this project finished. So it becomes a question of whether or not she's really just manipulating him.
Right. Apparently her purpose is, or her drive is, she thinks this thing can help a lot of people.
Yes.
That's what she says.
Yes.
Anyway, and she seems to be kind of otherwise somewhat altruistic in that I'm going to make this work, and we'll find a way. And I did all this extra work on the back side to make this work.
Right.
I smoke a lot of cigarettes, a lot of smoking in this thing, by the way.
There is,
It seems a little outdated. So many people were smoking on camera, but
it's another world.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, a lot of the technology is clearly outdated.
Good point.
Although its effect is like beyond what we currently have.
Right. Horribly outdated and yet incredibly futuristic.
Yes.
So meanwhile, we see that Owen, who also passes his diagnostic, is sad. He's still depressed. We get the feeling that the program's actually helping Annie. She says, like, you know what, I'm happier than when I woke up.
That's true. She does say that, yeah.
She feels like it's working for her. He does not.
Right.
And he wants to leave the program. So he's going to basically escape.
Yeah.
Start a new life, perhaps.
And that's when he mentions, actually, perhaps suggesting that I was wrong, that Owen was not intending to go and help his family. But it's possible he was just using it as an excuse, like, okay, well, maybe he's changing his mind about that because his current course is not...
Right.
I mean, because I guess...
So he mentions, oh yeah, my family wants me to lie in court, and that's coming up, and I need to do that.
Because then it makes me try to remember if he ever really stated why he got involved with the program in the first place. Is it because his imaginary brother encouraged him to?
I thought he needed money because he was losing his job.
Right.
And he needs money to keep...
Right, okay, that was one of the things that somebody suggested, right, on one of the ad buddy guys.
Yeah. In fact, I think one of the ad buddies was at the seance. I think it's the ad buddy that's hanging out with Annie, telling her, like, oh, we could go on a road trip together.
Oh, yes. That was her ad buddy.
Yeah.
I was like, I've seen her someplace before, and I'd forgotten that that's her ad buddy.
Yeah, her ad buddy showed up in the,
I love those performances. That one person who was like, that's amazing. It's like, you just did a card trick. Oh, that's so astounding. That was incredible.
It's funny too because the card trick wasn't that great.
No, it wasn't.
Like, if I could show him a card trick that he couldn't understand, then I just had him pick a card and I showed it to him and it was his card.
Yes. But now I'm a duke or whatever. I'm a sir.
Oh yeah, he has a sir. That's how he got the title of import. And that's something Owen I think wants to feel like he's
means something.
Yeah, means something.
Yeah, because he's like, that's the point that he was getting from the stories, and even in his life, he was saying that if he was George Bailey in If It's a Wonderful Life, that it would the Twilight Zone world where it doesn't snow, he would have no effect.
Yeah, he would have no effect. His absence would have no
same
effect
thing. Is there any difference? No, just no snow.
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is maybe even more depressed after seeing these virtual tests. It's not helping him at the moment. Annie does try to reach out to him. Now Annie is on, because originally he was reaching out to Annie because he thought she was the special person that he's destined to help him save the universe. Now it seems like the shoe's on the other foot, where Annie's like, wait, you're kind of important to me in these visions.
Right, and I really thought it was interesting when she was saying, "What were you?" When she forced him to talk to her, and started to say, like, maybe there is something to what you were saying. And she's like, "What are you making fun of me?" Because, and of course she's not. She's really just trying to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Even though personally, I feel like I hope that it's just they look at it metaphorically as, oh, we're soulmates or whatever. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's like that's actually a thing.
Yeah,
that would be pretty.
I'd rather yeah. It's like, if it turns out like Manta Ray, the computer is God or something.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, let's hope that. Yeah, we don't want to go down that road if possible. But the other thing we did learn, a very important piece of information, when Annie's talking to Owen.
Yes.
Is Owen says he's worried about the confrontation pill. He's going to take it, and they're going to experience maybe some vision of something that is horrible.
Yeah.
And so he says, I think what he's saying is, I don't want to confront this.
Yeah.
He's like, look, when I was young, I found a hawk. I nursed it back to health.
Yeah.
I had it in the house. I raised it. It ate my brother's gerbil, and he killed it with a hammer.
Yeah.
Which, again, we predicted that it didn't just fly away, that something bad had happened.
Yeah, it did not seem like it. And
so
it's interesting that he didn't expose his brother as a maniac.
Which is, Maniac, well, the title of the show.
Oh.
Drink. But I think that's also why, I'm going to guess, that's why his brother the imaginary friend is his brother. The imaginary Jed, I think it's because he's connected to that really traumatic moment. I think this thing, the moment where Jed hammered to death his hawk that he raised, I think is a hugely important moment in his life.
You suddenly mentioned it a number of times.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then it suggests, then it makes a question then of why the moment that he's reliving is not that moment, but it's the moment with Olivia.
Right.
I wonder if there's some way that we haven't seen it yet, that the imaginary brother plays a part in that as well, I wonder.
Well, they did say when he's getting into the program and they do that last little test for him, like, here's the last question.
Yes.
And they said something like, your defenses are low or something like that.
Fungible or something?
Fungible. Maybe his defenses aren't so fungible. Maybe he's thrown up this screen of like, this is what's really traumatic to me, but really the trauma is back when he was a kid. Perhaps. Like this break. Sure, this break is the result, but the cause is back here with this hawk situation.
Right.
I'm just saying, I think that's going to come up. But it's just interesting to know, I mean, I'm taking him at his word, that his brother actually killed the hawk that he had raised with a hammer.
It was interesting that we saw his delusion when he was in the computer, when he was in that world with the 30s world or whatever. His brother was like, and he's like, sorry for saying Owen when really your name is whatever the character's name is.
Yeah, he made an appearance.
Yeah.
And he was the imaginary
He's like,
version
oh, that's
of himself.
ectoplasm, sorry.
Yeah, he's coughing up the, good point. Basically Annie says, which I thought was kind of a touching moment, where she's like, look, this hawk thing, it sounds bad, but you know what? We're in there together. I'll be in there with you, so I can protect you. We're in these visions together. And so they take the pills, and then we see her show up as an elf with her sister, another elf. And that's all we see, really.
That's all we see.
So we don't know how that's going to play out.
No.
There's an implication
Yes.
that maybe Owen's not a part of that. You would think...
Is there?
Well, just because when they've shown up in the past, it's like pretty quickly you see the two of them together. There's some, he's in a car, and then there she is walking down the road.
Right.
He's in the house. He goes around the corner. She's there washing dishes.
Right.
The fact that he's not like standing there in an elven costume, or he's an orc or something.
Right.
Maybe they'll look to the left, and then the camera will pan over, and there it'll be. But it's just interesting that it's a sister as opposed to Owen.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So anyway, that is next time we get Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna do a large
something much better. The falcon or owl or whatever the heck that thing is. What is it? Beastmaster? What is it?
Hawk the Slayer?
Hawk the Slayer.
Beastmaster is something different. We can talk about Beastmaster.
No, we can't.
You want to do
something
Mark Singer.
Much better than Lord of the Rings. Hawk Slayer. So there you go.
You just said that Hawk the Slayer is better than Lord of the Rings.
I did say that. I'm
just fighting words, sir.
Yeah.
And we fight! Black out. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Every time you think you're out, I pull you back in.
You're in a virtual world now.
Ooh.
Oh, we're in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I have a ring. Okay. 3 rings for the Elven Kings. All right.
I forgot to mention.
Yes.
The music.
The music. He's been meaning to talk about this for the last 2 recaps.
Yes, exactly.
So
and I didn't want to go a third. So in the 4th episode, Yes, it was the 4th episode.
Okay.
In their 80s world, was playing Close to the Edit by Art of Noise. And, you know,
a song I'm really familiar
for
with.
the people who were raised in the 80s in the United States, that means, it should mean quite a lot, because that video by Art of Noise, which has a little girl on a railway field, and
trestle track, some just like breaking instruments.
Yes, the 3 people.
I didn't know this. I was raised in the 80s.
Power tools, destroying musical instruments. Anybody who was cool. So maybe that's it. Maybe
right. I was
it's
a
not
dork.
somebody who
he
was
he came to dorkdom later in life.
That's right.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So Art of Noise, Close to the Edit.
Yes,
okay.
And so that's what's playing. You hear it playing in the 4th episode.
It's the one where they're the lemur.
Yes, and so when she goes to the DMV to rat that person out.
And so what do you feel? Is there a metaphor in there?
I think it's perhaps just the tone. I think there's something about, you know, those people behaving very weirdly. I think it just coincides with their sense of humor, I think. But in the 5th episode, where we have the 30s, the seance and all that, they're playing a Cab Calloway song. And I'm partly doing this just to make more work for him, so he can put the videos in this show. But it's just one of the tunes that's playing. Not nearly as instrumental, obviously, as the song that they're dancing to. But
sure.
Just creating a sort of interesting, cool mood. So.
And the title of the song that is playing on the radio. So when this is during the seance episode.
Yes.
They're Owen is driving to the house, got the radio on, and he's like, "Turn that off." And they turn it off. The song is Exactly Like You, which is the title of the episode.
Well, you know, that's what they dance to.
Yeah.
And later on, when he says, like, "This is our song," so that's probably why. And I think it plays at the end. He's sort of like, "Okay, let it play."
And obviously, Exactly Like You would have this is like a simulacrum of themselves in the scenario.
Right.
There's a little bit of a you can point metaphorically to what that might mean.
Well, yeah, and the point of the song, I guess, what is it like? Somebody who is exactly like you is somebody who would, you know, be the one that I would want.
Yeah.
Or be the person who's perfect for me or whatever.
The other thing, I think we maybe mentioned it at the time, but we might not have. We might not have mentioned it. Back when we see the engagement party, Jed.
Oh yes.
As getting engaged
I think
to his
fiancé. The fact that he was singing
Every Breath
Sting.
You Take.
Yes. Although, more accurately, it should be the Police.
Good point.
But yes,
it's so creepy.
Yes,
it's a song from a stalker, basically.
Yes,
Every breath you take, I'll be watching you. You know.
Yeah, the people actually do, I think, have sung at their weddings. Thinking, that's so romantic.
And he's singing it straight to her, and it's so creepy. Yes. And we know that he's a creepy guy, so it's a song that a creepy guy would think this will be a great, engagement party song. And not really. But yeah. So again, the weird little warped humor of the show coming through there.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Also, just saw that dropping in the next couple of days is Star Trek Discovery shorts. Yeah. They're going to have their first of their shorts dropping.
Yes.
Dropping their shorts. That sounds weird.
That's right.
All right, never mind. But whatever. They're going to have a short clip. I don't know how to describe it. A self-contained episode that is like 15 minutes.
Yeah. A mini episode.
And so we will talk about it probably next week.
Yes, because he can't wait to talk about Tilly.
It's my favorite character.
Tilly.
Not my favorite character.
It's
all about Tilly.
His favorite character, secretly.
Tilly.
Yes, Tilly.
All the characters on the ship, you could do a one-off.
But obviously you would do one about Tilly. Obviously.
So we'll be talking about that.
Yes.
And actually, I have a really cool, I'm putting it together now, but I had a really cool Star Wars discussion with a good friend of mine. We were talking about did did Last Jedi do a disservice to Luke? And that's coming up as well. So enjoy that.
Yes.
Subscribe.
I want to see that too, so I can have someone else do battle.
That's true.
With you.
Damn you!
Wrong.
You end up battling all the time. Okay.
That's right. Well, that's why I don't like these comic book movie battles, because it's not like real life.
Right.
So, yeah.
Let's go back to the real world. Ow! Back to the real world.